Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome into the show. We're here with Rafael Pons. Rafael, if you don't know him, the background that he has is he's actually one of the creators of the app Photopills that we've actually done a lot of videos on the YouTube channels about tutorials on how to use. And it's an app that a lot of photographers do use when they're planning out their shoots of what they're going to photograph, how it's going to look, where the Milky Way, where the moon, where the sun, all of that, where is it going to be in the sky when you actually get out into your location. So we're going to be talking to him a lot about those things, as well as some of his backgrounds in the photography industry and programming, and what led him to where he is right now. So let's welcome in right now. Raphael, thank you for joining us. Welcome into the show. Why don't you get us started in your background in photography itself and your background in programming an app and creating something like that?
Awesome. First of all, thank you so much for having me, David. It's a pleasure to meet you again, this time virtually. We met in Canap a few months ago. It was great to meet you in person. And yeah, my background as a photographer is that I'm not a photographer. Probably everybody in the Photopills community knows that I'm not a photographer. So how can a non-photographer guy can become, the Photopills Master here and trying to help people shoot legendary photos through planning? Well, that's a long story. I'm an engineer. David, are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, because I just see myself now. So, okay. So my background is I'm a civil engineer. So I used to work for the town planning department in the city hall in the small village where I lived in Menorca, the beautiful island of Menorca, which appears in all our YouTube videos. And Germán Marquez, the other co-founder of Photopills, actually we are three co-founders, Joan Pons, the designer, Germán is the developer, and I'm the bard. So the guy behind the strategy, and marketing and stuff. So one day Germán came to me and told me about this photography thing. He bought a camera. This was on 2009. He bought a camera to take better pictures while he was traveling, an Nikon D90. So not a very good camera though. And he came to me and said, "Oh man, this photography thing is so difficult, so complicated. So many questions that I need to answer before I can get the shot I want." And at that time, we were looking for ideas of projects we could create from this little island lost in the Mediterranean Sea for the world. So I found the photography super interesting, a very interesting niche, very interesting hobby. And I love the creativity around photography. And we thought, well, let's do something to try to help these people. If they have an idea of a photo they want to take, let's help them get that shot. And here's how Photopills was born. We started brainstorming. We started, reading all the photography books we could, jotting down all the questions that needed an answer in order to get a photo. And this is how we came with the idea of photo pills, or pills for photographers. So depending on the problem you have or the idea you have, you take one pill or another. That's where the name photo pills comes from.
So it's kind of like red pill, blue pill in the Matrix.
Yeah, we like the doctors for photographers. we recipes and pills. We have pills that make you fly, and other pills that are really painkillers, so you get the shots you want.
So, how, being a non-photographer though, how difficult was it for you to come up with solutions that photographers might have when they're out in the field?
Yeah, it was pretty complicated. I have a pretty strong analytical mind. So for me, I did reverse engineering. So I took a photo and said, okay, what photographer needs to know or calculate in order to get this photo? So first, shooting spot, shooting date and time. So the Milky Way was at that particular position, or you will have the natural light coming onto your subject in a particular position. So shooting spot, date and time was where the first questions we wanted to answer, because we want you guys be at the right place at the right time. catch the photos you want. And then on the technical part, all the camera settings you need, all the calculations you need to work out the camera settings, it was pretty tough to me to understand things like depth of field. I actually wrote a whole article or a book on depth of field. I think it has more than 100 pages, that book. So can you imagine not being a photographer, reading everything on depth of field and writing 200 pages ebook on depth of field? So yeah, it was pretty painful, but I think I gained a lot of knowledge on the technical part of photography. But the question, why you're not a photographer, is like, photographer, you need an eye and the creativity, and that's the toughest part. Mastering your camera, mastering your techniques, the settings and the gear on an app like Photopills takes effort. But man, training your brain to pre-visualize the images and anticipate and be creative, that's super tough, and I don't have time, unfortunately, for that. I need to get better in marketing and strategy and business owner skills.
In terms of early rollouts of the app and creating something like this for photographers, what was some of the early feedback that you had from people when they started using the app and diving into it?
That's a good question, because we, as engineers, and we're not business people, we're nothing, we just hobbyists, working on our spare time on this project. And we worked for 3 years and we didn't show the app to a single photographer. So just Herman and myself, creating and with the help of Joan Pons, the designer, creating something that photographers were supposed to be using, but not a single photographer had seen before. So typical mistake, show your product first to your client, right? So the first photographer that saw this little software that we created, it was Anthony Cladera. That's the photographer of the Photopills team now. And he's a creative guy, so no technical, nothing. So when he first saw the software, the program, was like, oh man, you need to change so many things. I don't understand anything. And we started working with him first, getting the feedback, and we changed a lot of stuff until we released our first iOS version in 2013. And then is when we started getting feedback from users, and people was happy, but a lot of mistakes in user interface or suggestions, a lot of suggestions from people of tools they need, and we implemented later on. So for us, so no feedback for 3 years, and then only listening to people and trying to improve and get the those tools out there.
Now, you've said a couple times that you're kind of like the overall marketer of Photopills and this idea, this app that's coming out. And when you're doing that, when you're trying to market to photographers specifically, and getting no feedback like that, was it daunting for you? Was it challenging for you to say, okay, this is our idea, this is our app as Photopills, it's going to help a lot of people, please use it? Like, how did you work to get the word out in those first 3 years to make it the success that it is?
It was literally begging to people to use the app, right? Because we were not photographers, so zero experience, zero contacts in the photography industry. We're not business people, so we didn't know how to run a business, how to start, how to market. And the way we did it was super simple. Just put the software out there and then start, contacting photographers and offering the app for free so they could, use it. And at the beginning, it was very, very, very difficult. I sent 200 emails per day to all these photography leaders and got no answers. But then slowly people start replying and getting more interest on the app. Then I had to teach them how to use the app, because photography planning is something that's still there's a lot of way to be covered. Not many people is actually planning to the very last detail their photos. Many people are just, okay, what time it's sunset today or sunrise, which is something we provide too, but you can go further down. So I educated and I helped, people, leader photographers use the app. And then also I emailed all the photography blogs. Like, please, you have this nice product. Just test it and maybe you want to write a review. And then is how we got our first big review. It was in Luminous Landscape. That's an ancient blog on photography. And I remember that day when they published that review and we got 600 downloads in one day. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And direct email to blogs and photographers. And then we created our academy because Photopills, we try to offer the all-in-one thing. So the app is just a small part of the photography vision. We give you a tool to make all the calculations, but also we want to give you the education. So we start writing and making videos on YouTube. All these, I wrote like so many guides on depth of field or exposure or Milky Way photography. Really in-depth guides that help people learn how to photograph the Milky Way, for example. And those guides combined with the tools were the perfect combo for people to start using the app.
Who were some of those first photographers that you reached out to?
Well, I reached Aaron Priest, Josh Cripps, Francesco Gola, Albert Dross, all these guys that now are friends of us, and also Michael Freeman, and even Laforet, a very famous, photographer in the film industry. So all these guys, I can remember, Adam Woodworth. We met, Josh in Canada with you, so we are friends now. But yeah, at those days, for them was another tool. They had to learn how to use it because planning is not easy. So it took a lot of education and helping and support to get them finally use it for good. Because what I find is that when you switch into the planning mode, in terms of before you go shoot, you check the conditions you'll have, and you better maybe choose another location for that date or another date for that location. Then everything changes because you have the power to anticipate the future, so you can decide where to go and when to get the best photo possible, or at least the photo that you want. But the wall I found is that even very good photographers, they didn't even plan that much. They were just they went just out there in the outdoors and make the magic happen.
I'm really curious. Like, I know myself and a lot of other photographers know what it's like to start from zero. They're like, hey, I want to be a photographer. Let's go for it. And you're starting at ground zero. You are in that process, like you talked about, sending out so many emails per day, trying to contact as many people as possible and grow. For you, as somebody who worked on a team to create this app, and you can talk on behalf of the entire team too, how difficult was it for you to stay positive about the idea that you had and the product that you had in the app for photographers when you were sending out all those emails per day and you weren't really getting that much feedback back before you had that big review posted?
That's a very good question. Being positive is one of the key things in any project. At that time, we were working only part-time in our spare time on the project. And for us, we wanted to sell the app. Actually, we set like 1 million downloads maximum in the future we wanted to achieve. But we didn't have a real path. So yeah, for us at the beginning, it was very tough to get those downloads. But we were never anxious about selling more and more and more. We're about helping people, and we felt that the more people we helped, the more buzz, the more impacts we were having. So for me, the hardest part is to find strategy that works. And at the beginning, you need to work hard, and you won't get that many results, but that's part of the game. If you assume that's part of your journey, then the less pressure the less pressure you put on yourself. So assume that you're in a journey, in a really adventure, long-term adventure, and somehow you need to be lucky in order to get to be successful. And luck is a very also important ingredient in success of a company or a career. But if you're confident on what you're doing and you believe in your work, you just need to keep working, and things will come. And every day I was telling to me, okay, this is a long term. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. If you persist and you work, things will happen, and they start happening. But also using the right mindset. I knew that if I wrote a very good guide on Milky Way photography that could help people, maybe through that guide, people would really learn that they could plan the Milky Way. And my purpose was to help people to get their shots. And of course, I wanted to sell the app through the guide. But what kept motivating me is like, okay, I want to help people, and I want to write this guide, and I don't know how to photograph the Milky Way, but I'm going to write it, and I'm going to send a lot of emails afterwards, trying to make it available to as many people as possible, like kind of clubs, And I think that passion that everyone has inside is the one that ignites and keeps you moving forward. And yeah, if you give up, then you're done. If you don't give up, you might get it, right? So never give up. Never give up.
I think never give up is great advice. It took me several years to get over that hurdle. And I think luck does have some value to it. Do you put any weight into the phrase create your own luck? Those people who just keep hitting it day after day and keep trying it day after day. Because I kind of believe that when you are in the photography world specifically, the more you put yourself out there, the more avenues, the more roads that you have leading back to you, the more opportunities that you have to be discovered and to get that luck to come in.
Yeah, definitely. It's like playing the lottery. The more tickets you have, the likelihood is that you win a prize. I mean, there is no certainty that you'll get the prize, but the more you work, the more stuff you put out there, things will happen. People sees you, how hard you work, how the quality of the content you're producing, and everything starts. The more eyes you have on the things you're doing, the better. So yeah, when I finished one guide, I said, okay, next guide. I need more gasoline. I need more petrol to ignite this traffic, more eyeballs attract to our app, right? Definitely. You need to work your luck out, and the more you work, the more luck you'll have.
Let's take a name you threw out just a second ago, and someone's whose photography that I've really seen take a giant step forward and a different approach to photography, who we both met in Canab, Josh Cripps. Mm-hmm. Using the app, I've seen him come a long way in terms of preparation, in terms of vision, and not only that, but in terms of creating cohesive bodies of work that can be used as something like a collection or a photo book. And if anybody has followed Josh for a long time, you've seen him start to produce these images of full moon photography and the quote unquote super moons that we have. What have you seen from Josh yourself just through using the app that he's been able to produce using full moon photography?
Yeah, Josh is through what we call Photopills Master. He is mastering the app and pushing the boundaries to create really unique images with the moon, eclipses, and landscape photography. Everything changed for Josh when we did a Photopills weekend lab in Mammoth Lakes. In 2000, I think it was 15th or 16th, I was traveling the US for 3 months, and I I asked Josh to do something with me one weekend in Mammoth Lakes, and he invited me to his place. And there he saw me teaching how to plant the moon live. And somehow there is a difference between watching me live and watching me on YouTube, and even reading my guides. There is something different there. And something happened to his mind. He decided to, I want to do this. I want to have the control so I can decide the final image. And not only that, I want to really think about the scenes that I know that they're happening every day, but nobody sees, right? So I want to find these images, and the Photopills is the perfect tool to find them. And then all you have to do is to learn a bit how to use the app, and that's it. And Josh is going in that direction of pushing his imagination in that direction of using the moon and the natural events and celestial bodies to tell stories. And thanks to the app, well, this is easier. I like to say that maybe Photopills opens a door for you to a new world of creativity, because now you can anticipate the future. So you can decide where to stand and when to maybe capture photo that nobody has taken before. And Josh really is an example. He's been in the Photopills Camp this year teaching on moon planning, moon photography. It's been great to have him with us in Menorca. Really a photographer to follow, and he's going to grow in the future for sure.
How does it make you feel as the creator of an app that helps a photographer like Josh succeed like that and be able to create his vision through a tool that you created?
Well, for me, it's a surprise, right? I mean, what we have done is just put a tool available to anyone out there that you can use or not use it on your favor. So Josh decided to use and make the most with just a tool to get the shot you want. But I always tell people, forget about Photopills, forget about everything. What do you want? Set a goal first, set an image, imagine a photo, and then use the tools you have available to make it happen, right? So you can go and capture it. If you switch your mind like Josh did, then you have more tools available, so you can shoot. You have many more possibilities for photography. It's like going from film to these new cameras that we have. We can use these cool capabilities to even shoot the Milky Way at night and capture all these amazing detail in the stars. So for me, it's like, wow. I just put the framework or the tool out there, but seeing people using the tool to create such amazing images is mind blowing. Is something that's the best thing. That is the thing that makes me feel more fulfilled about the Photopills project. And if you look at our Instagram account and you see all the photos we feature every day, photos that have been imagined, planned, and captured by our community, it's like, oh my God. All these guys are really thinking about creating these images and planning these moments. And then, the best thing is also is, being out there capturing something that you've imagined. And I think it's better the moment you're capturing the photo than the final photo itself, I would say.
Has it exceeded your expectations, seeing all those images that people create and having that feeling about your tool being used to do that?
Oh yeah, definitely. By 1,000 times. It's super tough, to inspire people to take action. It's been one of the main goals of Photopills, inspire people to take action, to go out there, imagine a photo, go there and capture it. And when I see all the photos that people are submitting to the Photopills Awards and all the photos we feature every day, it's like, wow. I mean, so crazy ideas, so crazy moments that happen. But, if you're not there capturing them, these moments will be lost in time, like tears in the rain, like in the film, in the movie, right? In Blade Runner. So for me, it's incredible. I would never expected to see all the photos that people are really planning and capturing, thanks to the power of the app.
One of the things that you said just a minute ago really clicked a question in my mind, and that was the app is just one part of Photopills. It's just one tool that you can use. And it got me thinking, Photopills has really created kind of this grassroots movement or community around the idea of what it is. How have you been able to produce this community feeling around Photopills for photographers?
I feel that communities are born around a cool thing. I mean, to create a community, all you need to do is to do something that's cool and let people learn how to do that thing. And if people find that that's cool, people will do it, and then you're in the same boat, right? So all we did was, well, you know, now we have the power to imagine a photo, plan that photo, and go and capture it. And guys, this is how we do it. We use Photopills, which is like our lightsaber, right? And you want to learn how to use the app, and you want to nail your photos. Here you have a guide that will help you. You'll get inspiration. You'll get, how to find locations, how to plan your shot, the gear you need, and all the camera settings you need to get the shot you've just imagined. And giving this mix of, the Photopills Awards, where we reward the creativity in the people that are using the app, plus the education, plus the tool, and everything built around the concept of imagine a photo, plan it, and go and capture it. I think that's what motivates people, to think more about the images they take, and fulfillment. When you capture a photo that you've planned, wow, it's something so exciting that I think kind of gets you hooked in the process. And then you kind of stop brainstorming and creating, which is the most important part, the creative side. And then it happens that you have a tool that you can use to plan something, right? But I think what gets people together is the excitement of chasing all these moments and enjoying being outdoors, living unique scenes.
I think that's really interesting. And one of the things that I've seen you guys do is create community events. And that's, like you mentioned earlier, Photopills Camp. Let's start here. Why decide to do something like that and give people an idea of what Photopills Camp actually is?
It's a pretty crazy event. For us, Photopills is a way of living photography, right? And yes, we have software, we have education, but the people is the most important part. And meeting people in real life is super exciting. That's the reason we're doing the Photopills Camp. We're doing the Photopills expeditions. Where we plan photos and we travel to capture them, which materializes our vision of, oh man, we have the whole world and very soon the moon, where we can go and travel. We can capture all these photos that we've imagined from home. Let's do it as a community, and you can join our expeditions to Menorca or the Photopills Camp, which is in Menorca, to capture all these photos that we planned on the island, and you get to mix with the community, and then you mix with the masters and people like you and the Photopills team in our home island, our headquarters. So you get to spend 1 week with us, shooting our favorite locations, surrounded by like-minded people, and enjoying the island, the Menorcan style, the local style. And this is the Photopills Camp. It's a crazy week where you need 2 weeks to decompress afterwards because you don't sleep. You're forced to share a room with a stranger. That's the reason we call it a camp. And it's pretty crazy. And the more I meet with people, it's the more excited I get about the project. Believe it or not, after Photopills Camp or after Photopills Expedition, it's like energy levels super high because you feel the love of people and they're telling you, guys, you go in the right direction, do this, I need this, what about that? So you get a lot of ideas for the future, and it's super exciting.
I even heard rumors of a spa day happening.
A what?
A spa day? Like you
A
go?
spa, of course. A spa. I mean, we live life the Menorcan style. It's a slow life in Menorca. This is a small island in the Mediterranean. Slow but fast, right? We like enjoy life. We like spa. We like nice food, and then we take action. But take action the smart way. We just want to be at the right place at the right time, right? We don't want to be there like 3 hours waiting for the shot. We know what we're gonna get and what time we're gonna get the shot, so we can maximize the experience. So yeah, you have lots of cakes, lots of desserts in the menus, spa, yeah, nice, beautiful beaches, and a lot of secrets that occur during the week. But again, I think the most important part is the people in our community that are willing to share. Photopills is a share-minded community. We love sharing. We don't keep anything for ourselves. Share education, share the locations, share Menorca with you guys because we enjoy it and we want you to enjoy it too. So yeah, sharing is part, and I see that people join the community is somehow in the same direction.
You've been doing this for about a few years now. What are some of the changes that you've made to Photopills Camp from year one to where you are now?
Year one, we moved like 90 people, right? Well, 50 between 50 and 60 photopillars, and then 10 masters, and then the Photopills team. And the first year, we went the whole community in one spot, and then we split in 4 groups and we shot, and it was a chaos, right? Because we wanted to keep the community together, in all the spots. And that was a crazy idea, of course. So after that, we decided to split the groups at the hotel. So each group goes to a different location. 14 people with 2 masters and 2 members of the Photopills team, like a group of friends enjoying a different location. And that's the big change between the first edition and the editions second, third, and fourth now, which we've done this year. And also the masters you invite. At the beginning, I didn't know anybody. Now I know a lot of people, and it's easy for me to pick the right fit in the community. In the past, I made mistakes. I was inviting people that I thought they were one way, and then you find that they're the other way. So trial and error is life, right? Trial and error.
I can only imagine how many tripod legs were like intersected, having 90 people at one location, waiting on a sunset. Like everybody, you move one, and all the tripods go over.
That was so crazy. But the craziest part was to split people in 4 groups on location. It was a mess. It's too noisy. People didn't know where to go or when. It was crazy. Poorly planned, I would say. That was poorly planned.
I would say, like, if I'm in the field or teaching a workshop or something like that, and we're teaching on how to use Photopills. For example, Adam Woodworth and I paired up on a Milky Way workshop, and we taught Photopills for a day before we went out and shot that night. One of the questions that I always get when I do that, and I'm going to throw it to you, is why use Photopills over another app that does similar things, tells you where the sun is, tells you where the moon is, the Milky Way, does AR of where that's going to be. Why use Photopills over another app?
Well, there are many apps out there that help you foresee the future, or use the AR and stuff. Photopills is not an app. I mean, I don't think people buy Photopills for the app, or maybe they buy the app but then they stay for the community, or they stay for the value we're delivering. So what I would say is that just use the app you feel more comfortable to use. So I'm not going to tell anybody to use Photopills. And if it happens that you're using Photopills, you'll see the difference. Maybe you like one app or another. This also differentiates, right? Maybe you like heavy metal, and other people will like reggaeton. I always try to compare myself as a rock band. We have a music and a way of doing things, and people that like the same way we do things, they will join us. And there are other apps out there that do things in a different way, and people, they prefer the other way. And these apps at the end of the day are so cheap in terms of how much you spend on petrol or time or gear. That it doesn't really matter. I don't see them as competitors. I see them as allies to help people, plan shots, because planning is still unknown, and it's starting to pick up thanks to people like you and Adam that using tools like Photopills to plan photos. But maybe 3-4 years ago, it was not common that you join a workshop and the photographer actually taught you how to plan the shot. Maybe they just teach you composition and settings and editing, but nobody told you, well, but why I'm here at that time, right? And why the tripod is here at that date and at that time. That's not, it's not gambling. It's because you planned the shot beforehand, right? So yeah, summing up, guys, use the app. Use Photopills, of course. But yeah, there are apps out there that do similar things, but not as quite as similar as Photopills.
I think one of the things that I discovered using it several years in a row is how many tools there are that you don't really discover when you first open the app. A lot of people, when they first start using it, they're like, hey, I've seen people plan Milky Ways with this. I've seen people use it for AR to see where the sun is going to be on the horizon, so I can line up my subject and my composition beforehand and get close to that. What I've found is there's so many tools, like tools to help you with hyperfocal distance. There's tools to help you with depth of field, like you mentioned. Different options for what camera and lenses that you're using to get that just right. What are some of the tools that you know from creating the app and developing this community around it that you aren't really seeing a lot of people use that maybe they should be using?
Yes, the tool people use the most, of course, is the planner. But then other tools that are hidden and people use this too, but not that often, are the depth of field calculator, or, for example, the exposure calculator is a very, very powerful tool. People are reading exposure, they don't know what does it mean. But with that exposure calculator, you can work out the equivalent exposure times when you're using ND filters. So you don't need another app for that. It's already in your Photopills app. So yeah, for sure, the widgets is also another part that's hidden in Photopills. That all the apps, you have the possibility of activating widgets, and Photopills have like a few cool widgets you can use to get the key information for the UR. For example, you want to know the sunrise setting, or when the golden hour begins, or the Milky Way visibility times. We have a widget for that. You can just go and use the widget, and you don't need to go to use Photopills, and that's pretty hidden. So if you have Photopills and have not enabled the widgets, go to our YouTube channel and watch our video on using the widgets, because it's a shortcut to the key information. They work offline, and it saves a lot of time. So I would say widgets, and also the exposure calculator, depth of field calculator, or the spot stars calculator. Spot stars helps you, if you're a beginner in Milky Way photography, helps you assess the maximum exposure time you can use to prevent the stars from trailing. And I think those are the main ones. We also have the field of view. Then we have another one that it's showing you the field of view on the AR, so you can actually visualize the frame through your phone before you take the photo. And that's outside the planner. Inside the planner, you have so many tools that are hidden and are very advanced that you can use. Like, for example, show the moon size or the sun size on the map, or show the depth of field or field of view on the map, so you can plan your framing on the map from home. A lot of tools. Guys, go and watch my videos on YouTube.
And we'll link those in the video description if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll put those in the show notes on the write up for the podcast listeners if you want to go to the website. I would say from using the app, one of my favorite things to do is for organizational purposes, and that is creating my plans, but also using them as icons on the map. So let's say I'm just scouting locations around where I live. I can use the map in Photopills to save my current location, put in all the information of what day I want to go back, what conditions, and then use a little icon if I have a lot of fields near me. So if it's like a field of flowers that I think would be good for like a sunstar photo, I would save that with the icon as a little flower. Because so many times, like I'm planning on Google Earth or something, and I just have thousands of little pinpoints, and I have no idea what they are. This gives me a better idea of, hey, conditions are right now. Now I can go out to get a flower photo. Let's look for the flower icons on my map and Photopills and my saved locations. For me, just shooting locally and quickly going out to find somewhere to photograph has been the most helpful part of the app to use.
And this will be improved a lot in the future. We're working in a big project now that goes in that direction, of better managing your plans and your locations, and really make bring the tool to the next level. So thank you for sharing your feedback, because for me it's super important to understand the way you use the app and what you guys expect to get from the app. So it helps you get the photos you want to get, and it simplifies your workflow.
One of my questions was about learning curve, and I'm really happy that Richard actually commented on this on the live video. He says, for a new Photopills user, where's the best place to start learning how to use the tool? And it coincides with what I've heard people say, well, there's a huge learning curve to Photopills. Where do I start? And I think this question is perfect for that.
Yeah, definitely. I always start saying that forget about the app. First, set a goal. For example, it can be you want to be in a location that you like next Saturday to photograph the sunrise. And now you have a goal because you want to know you have a goal of a photo or a photo opportunity. You have questions. So at that location, what time is sunrise and in what direction? With these two questions, you can go to our academy, and there is a guide on sunrise photography. And that guide will walk you through from inspiration, how to find locations, but also the planning part, planning sunrises and sunsets, and also the gear and also the camera settings you need to photograph the sunrise and sunset, which is the ultimate goal, to nail the photo. And in that guide, you'll find the 2 videos you need to watch to learn how to plan the photo you want to capture. For example, a sunrise next Saturday in a location that you like. And by watching that video, you'll learn how to do that with the planner in 10 minutes. And you do it, and you go and capture the photo. And then maybe next time you want to photograph the Milky Way, you go to our Milky Way guide that's available for everybody, not even Photopills users, on our website. And in the Milky Way guide, you'll find the planning section. And in the planning section, there is a video that tells you how to plan a Milky Way in 10 minutes. And now you know how to plan sunrise and sunsets. Now you know how to plan the Milky Way. And then you move to the moon, for example. And the moon is the most complicated thing to plan. Above all, you want to capture all these huge moons with your subject, right? For that, you need to really understand the terrain and the levels, and that's the most difficult part. But it works the same way. We have a moon photography guide with a planning section, and there we teach you the 2 ways you have to plan the moon. One is when you know the date, and the other one is when you don't know the date, but you know the shooting spot and the photo you want. And for Photopills, there is a tool that's called Find that will help you figure out the right date and time that photo occurs. So the movie will be right where you want it to be, relative to your subject. So for me, everything begins by being a photographer. Be a photographer. Think about a photo you want to capture. And then because you have an idea of what you want, then you'll have questions. Okay. But don't try to master the app, just the part you need. The big mistake is I'm downloading Photopills and I'm going to master it. It's like trying to learn Photoshop in one day. No, forget about Photoshop. Forget about Photopills. Set a goal first, and then if you go to the app and don't know how to answer the questions you have, go to our guides on photopills.com/academy, and there you have a guide for Milky Way photography, starter photography, moon photography, lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, landscape photography, long exposure photography, drone photography, and each guide will guide you to not only to learn how to plan the shot, but to nail the photo. And you try once, second, with another photo opportunity, another idea, and you don't realize it, and you know how to use the app.
You teased it just a second ago, creating new aspects to the app to make it even better, take it to the next level. And also for the community, future events like Photopills Camp, being at conventions and big events like we were at Canab together. Where do you see not only the app going in the future, but also the community? Where is that going in the future?
Wow, that's the community side and the travel side is a big part of the project. I need to, build a team around the software side or the tool, and also I need to build a team around the community or adventure travel side, because that side for us is super important. I see maybe in 5-10 years doing multiple camps all around the world, and also multiple expeditions. This year we've done 4 expeditions and 1 camp. Next year 1 camp and maybe 8 expeditions. But only one guy here working, so I need to hire people and try to build a team around the expedition side, because there are a lot of ideas around events that we could run, like for example, small Photopills labs in New York or another city, like more where we can get together and plan photos together in that area, right? So there's so many ideas we could do live. Before that, now we're growing the developers team to make our next big thing happen. And the travel site is something we want to push, and slowly, but still the problem is that, okay, we only have a certain amount of time and also money to invest in a project. But yeah, for us, I would love to do 10 camps and 100 expeditions and 50 Photopills labs in the future, so we can get the community together and connect.
You've said developers to create the next part of the app.
Yeah.
You've teased it. This is your last chance to tell us what that actually is.
That's I cannot tell you. Well, yeah, it's something. Well, basically, is like kind of a premium version of Photopills, something more, evolved, natural evolution of the app with more tools. As you can imagine, it's more of everything that Photopills has, and it's a big project, and we're working on it for 1 year, no more than 1 year, and we're still, I would say, maybe in 2023 we'll have something to test and show and try to see if people really wants to upgrade or not. But yeah, the idea is to push us and think outside the box and try to create something that doesn't exist, and that's super powerful in terms of that helps even more people to join the community and the movement, and maybe together we can all imagine all these photos and capture them and then show them to the world, right? So it's something big.
Love that. Well, Raphael, on behalf of myself, to you, to all the Photopills team, thank you for coming on, both live on YouTube and also on the podcast as well. Thank you so much, man.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been great. I hope we meet in the future, maybe in the States, maybe in Spain, maybe in another place. But yeah, you're doing a great job, and yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, man.